everybody, and welcome to another Golden Ticket podcast, where not only do we go inside the inner workings of Ashley's game show, Are You a Movie Oracle, but this week we're also going to be analysing the immense emotional breakdown that perplexed this poor girl as she struggled to get the latest episode to you, the viewers, and we're going to go deep inside what actually caused this to happen. And quite frankly, it's probably going to be my favorite part of this podcast, like just finding out what went wrong. And for all you future YouTubers out there who watch Ashley's show and go, oh my god, I want to be just like her one day, spoiler alert, don't. Yeah, for all you people out there, this is stuff that you can learn about what not to do and stuff like that. So, yeah, Ashley, how you doing?
That's implying it's my fault, so fuck you for that.
No, that's not at all what I meant. It's technology, technological things happen. Yeah, and so for all prospective YouTubers or any kind of people who want to, I don't know, stream to Pornhub or whatever you want to do, yeah, this is going to be some valuable information about what not to do as far as your technology goes. So, yeah. So how you doing? Have you recovered from your ordeal?
Well, it's been 24 hours without anything too bad happening. Excuse me while I quickly knock on the wood ground, because I don't want anything bad happening now that I've said that. Yeah, it was a bad day, followed by a lot more bad days. It was, I expected, on account of what happened with Bongo, I was expecting something to go wrong during the guest appearance. And, yeah, no. Instead, the universe was like, haha, you thought you were ready, but we're going to surprise you. And I'm just like, oh, yay, thank you so much.
It was saving the best to last.
Yeah, this makes the Bongo guest appearance, not to be confused with the Christmas episode, but with Jared and Larry, it makes that look like a fucking cakewalk. Like, all things considered, like, at the time, you were sweating. You were at the tsunami of sweat. If anybody has seen that Dan has started a monthly vlog on his channel, you see in the very first one there is a snippet that he recorded while we were having our fiasco. He was not exaggerating. He was drenched. And I was both feeling bad and laughing my ass off. So, good friend over here.
No, that's fine. That was mostly because that room upstairs is really hot in the middle of summer, and yeah, Bongo is actually a very hot puppet. When you got your arm covered, like, he's made of all this synthetic material and stuff, and because your extremity is getting warmer, and it just leads to absolute disaster. But that was, I love the visual that you were painting just now. Just been through.
Yeah, I was upset with that episode, but again, comparing the two, it was so much easier to fix that. It was simple, just record round 2 on a different day, make sure the guys are wearing the same outfits, and I was able to piece it together. And it actually wasn't until the very first episode of this podcast came out and people were listening to it, and a lot of people were saying to me, I would not have guessed that you recorded that on 2 separate days, which made me feel good. I'm like, haha, success! Yeah. You didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know. And I get to get away with it. But there were just so many technical failures in this one. There was no fixing the damage. It was just going with it and being like, fuck it, I have to just live with this, which is painful when you're a perfectionist. Anytime I put out anything that is bad audio, bad video, bad anything, I can't go back and watch it because I'm just like, no, I'm just going to pretend you don't exist. You're not here. But it was doubly
good. Like,
thank you.
It's definitely not perfect. I mean, like, if I was to sit here and go, well, what are you talking about? There was nothing wrong with it. You'd know I'm bullshitting you. Yeah, there were definitely problems. I mean, the was it the first couple of questions in one round missing and stuff, but
Yeah.
from you salvaged it so freaking well. Like,
Thank you.
it was still an entertaining episode, and we still got the gist of what what was missing and stuff. Like, so from the perspective of what you actually managed to produce in the end, from how many disasters you had, you did a really amazing job, and I think
Thank you.
I kind of wasn't kidding. Like, for anyone who does want to sort of get into this stuff, like, that's a valuable lesson. That even when everything goes wrong, like, if you can manage to salvage stuff by thinking creatively or whatever, like, yeah, that's a really good thing. And so, yeah, no, you were a shining example of that kind of thing. So, yes, well done to you.
Thank you, thank you. What made it extra disappointing for me is because I was so excited to be recording this game show episode, which was Lucy versus Stephanie, because it was my first episode that was going to have 2 female competitors. I've not done that before on my show, so that was kind of going to be like, oh my god, exciting! And, yeah, it just was wrong from the get-go, and I'm watching it, and it took at least 2 days when I finally got up the courage to start editing, that is. Because, best believe I was putting that shit off. By the time I started editing it, it took me 2 to 3 days just to sync up the footage with me with them. Because because it's usually very easy, because their footage starts as soon as I say welcome so and so I know exactly where to time it, whereas this was, well, how much was there a pause between the question and when someone responded? But there's usually, you ask a question and a person thinks first. I'm like, how long were they thinking after I said it?
Right.
And then of course every time you do that, the footage becomes out of sync, so you have to render it, and rendering takes at least 2 hours. So by the time I'm like, I have not actually edited anything. I'm just spending 2 days trying to sync audio. What the F? It was a nightmare.
Wow.
It was an absolute nightmare. And this was all happening at 6 o'clock in the fucking morning, and I had not slept yet. I stayed awake just to record this. I was delirious.
Wow.
I was frazzled. There is plenty of stuff that I edited out because I could not form a single coherent sentence. I was just, things were coming out of my mouth and I'm like, that's not a word. What? What? And they're laughing, and they were being so absolutely wonderful, but I'm feeling like crap because I'm like, I do not seem like a professional right now. I seem like someone who's drunk or something. I wish I was drunk. That might have made the disasters a little easier to take.
Well, like I said, so the episode turned out really well. So yeah, so that was the first time you've had 2 female contestants, is it?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Well, you are as aware as I that the movie community is a little bit saturated with the menses. And the thing is, this, as I hope most people know, it's a free-for-all. If you want to be a part of it, just, say, hey, can I be a part of it? It's not hard. Yeah. But the thing is that it's typically only guys who sign up for the show. Women don't really volunteer. Of the women who I have actually had on my show, and I've had at least 6 or 7 now, I think I'm up to 7. Of the 7 women who have been on my show, only one of them actually volunteered. The others I actually reached out to saying, hi, I would love to have you on my show, especially during like Women's History Month, which is when I started. I'm like, I'm like, well, I really want to feature female movie lovers in the community because it's Women's History Month, and this was last year. And so I was reaching out, and I got people to say yes, and that was great. But yeah, the only female to actually volunteer was Kristen Maldonado, who is absolutely terrific, and she has a brilliant YouTube channel, but she actually reached out to me and DM'd, and she's like, hey, I'd like to be on. I'm like, oh, a female actually came to me. It was great. It was exciting. But aside from that, it makes me a little sad. And also because I wonder if women look at my show and go, you don't have a lot of representation. I'm like, they don't seem to want to be represented. They ain't coming. I'm like, the guys, however, my DMs are always blowing up with guys going, can I be on? Can I be on? I'm like, yes, of course you can. Why can't you be female? But yes, you can.
So why do you think that is? Like, because, I mean, I know there's a lot of, female voices in the YouTube film community who are very outspoken about female representation and more females being recognized for what they do and everything, which I totally support. Although I am kind of like, the way my mind works, there shouldn't even be any discussion about gender. We should just all be, a solidarity thing of YouTubers. But so why do you think that is, that like they don't reach out to you?
I really don't know. I mean, most of what I've learned with the guys is I'd say 98% of the guys who sign up do it because they want to have fun. They love movies and it's all about the fun, which is great. There is, however, that small 2% where they're kind of overly competitive to an unhealthy degree. And that is usually not a very good recipe, I have learned. But, yeah, I don't know what it is with the women, because it's interesting that, and you're right, I see the same thing. I see so many of these, not just female YouTubers, but whether it be female movie bloggers or critics or whatever, and they're always on social media talking about female representation, not just in movies, but in the movie community, wanting more female critics, wanting more spotlight on female critics. And I'm giving you a platform to come here and show your movie knowledge and introduce maybe some people to your stuff. And none of them are taking the bull by the horns. I personally don't get it. I did think that more women would jump on, especially knowing that the host is a female. Yeah. That maybe that would make them feel a little bit more up to it, but nope, still mostly dudes.
Yeah, it's really weird because I mean, it's such a great thing that you're doing to get people's names and faces out there, and for people just to have some fun and. So anyway, come on, people, get on. Like, if you're a YouTube movie reviewer and you have a vagina, message Ashley and get on her show. Do it now.
Well, let's keep in mind there are some women out there who don't have vaginas, and we're not excluding them.
Yes, that's true. Okay, let me rephrase that. If you're if you
identify
YouTube
as a
movie
woman
reviewer and you have either a penis or a vagina, message Ashley right now and get on her game show and get yourself out there. Oh, wow. I wasn't sure how long it was going to take before I started saying random shit that's going to be offensive to somebody out there, but here I go.
15 minutes. Took you 15 minutes. Well done. Well done. I keep a list of everyone who messages me saying that they want to be on the show. So it's a first come, first serve process where I know who, when we start resuming the regular episodes, then that's going to be John. He won the last one, so he'll be back. And then we'll just be going through the list in order of who signed up when. So I have at least 11 competitors written down. And of the 11, 2 of them are women, and these 2 women did actually volunteer to sign up. I didn't reach out to them, so it was great. But again, you are seeing those odds. Out of 11, only 2 are women. And the crazy thing is, just the other day, I posted a tweet saying how I was disappointed that there weren't more minorities and representation on my show, and I certainly try. That's why I certainly try to reach out to certain people like, hey, do you want to be on? Because when I start seeing, no offense to the white guys, but when I start seeing that, I'm like, oh, there's so much white guys, it's like the rest of YouTube. So like, quick, I'm like, I need a woman. I'm sure I'll be saying that again in my life.
I've actually exclaimed that many times myself, but yeah, that's beside the point.
But, yeah, so I have lost my train of thought. You made a joke.
I'm still imagining you going, I need a woman. And, yeah, anyway, my train of thought's going to a
I need a brain.
I want to talk about.
I need a brain is what I need. Yeah, I posted that tweet, and I was hoping that it would spark more women to sign up to do it. Maybe, more people of different genders or ethnicities or something going like, I want to represent for my community. So they might go up. And instead, I had an outpouring of straight white dudes saying, can I be on this show? And I'm like, I said minority. I'm like, but of course, I did specify in the tweet, all are welcome. So I couldn't very well say, no, fuck off. So obviously I said, yes, you are welcome. But I'm like, what part of the word minority did you feel applied to you?
Oh, man. But anyway, so, well, of course, your last episode did include all women, and yeah, that was a really cracking episode, despite all the technical things. It was still a lot of fun to watch, so let's get stuck into talking about that.
Well, as is established in the Redemption series, if you score more points than you did in your previous episode, you are redeemed, and if you win the episode, you are redeemed. So Lucy at least got her redemption for scoring the most points in the episode and winning the episode itself. But neither competitor actually beat their score from their last episodes. And I decided, fuck it, they dealt with a lot of shit for that hour and a half. So I declared them both redeemed. Because it's my show, my rules, and that's what I declared. Yes.
And you are like the white Australian Oprah. You're like, you're redeemed, and everybody is redeemed.
What just how that's white Australian Oprah? Oh my god. Well, I'm certainly fat enough.
That's something you can add to your channel description.
Yes, I'll make sure to put it in quotes so that nobody actually thinks I was calling myself that. I'm like, no, this was a public announcement by the one and only Dan Jensen. This was not by me.
Yeah. That's right. I'll take credit for that.
I'm sure you will. So we kicked off the episode with the horror genre. And
yes.
And it was within the first few minutes that all shit went to hell. Mm-hmm. And here's where it was extra disappointing, and I did temporarily consider keeping my footage in, but it just would have been weird. I felt it was better just to not have me there at all and just kick up where we left off. And the disappointing thing is the very first question was a Silence of the Lambs question. Lucy is a massive Silence of the Lambs fan. So much so that she has the Silence of the Lambs moth tattooed on her body. So she's a hardcore fan. And so when I was preparing the questions, like some people know, I have 2 notebooks full of questions, different categories. So when I find out what the wheel has picked, I go through my book to find that category, and it's questions that I've already pre-written ages ago. And as soon as I looked and I saw horror and I saw the very first question was Silence of the Lambs, and it was going to be for Lucy, and I'm like, oh my god, the fates have smiled upon her. And because she was always saying, she's like, I'm happy to do it again, just please no romance. Please no romance. Because she didn't do so well at romance last time. And I said, it's horror, and she's like, okay, I feel more optimistic about that. And we had a conversation, it was brief, and I said, I'm expecting you to get this right, because this was pretty much hand chosen from the movie gods just for you. And she's like, oh god. And I said, in the Silence of the Lambs. She went, yes. So she was really happy, and naturally she didn't disappoint. She got it wrong. She got it right. She got it right, and then we moved to the next question that they both got wrong, unfortunately. It was a trick question, but I still hope someone would get it right. And And then my laptop gave me the blue screen of death, and I lost the intro, I lost introducing the girls, I lost our little catch-up, and I lost the first 2 questions, which was extra disappointing because I'm like, I just lost that Silence of the Lambs moment. I was so excited for that. And I'm like, what do I do now? I can't ask them the questions again. They already know the answers. And I can't do the intro again because that just seems really pointless at this point. I have done it in the past, but this just, it was 6 o'clock in the morning and I was so tired. I'm like, I don't have the energy for this shit. I'm like, I'll come up with something. So we managed to get through the rest. And it was Stephanie. She had not seen a single movie that I asked about.
I was absolutely aghast. Like, you know, I used to have a lot of respect for her, you know? But, yeah, the amount of films that she hadn't seen was just... Yeah. Look, I don't want to say anything bad just in case she's watching this. But,
I did find it quite funny, and it kind of, the fact that she kept saying it, I was getting to a point where I kind of wanted to say, stop admitting to this. Just pretend you can't remember. Don't acknowledge that you haven't seen these, because it's getting crazy.
I know, like, what was some of the most surprising ones? Was it, I think, was it A Nightmare on Elm Street? The original Elm Street? Was that one of them?
She had not seen A Nightmare on Elm Street.
How? Yeah. No, look, I'm just gonna stay silent on the subject right now because I don't want to cause offense. Yeah. But hey, maybe she hasn't seen it because it was from before her time.
The shade. Oh, I need a fan so I can do bling shade. Oh, remind me to get one of those. But despite her not having seen, like, anything... she did a great job at guessing majority of the answers in round 1. So that was impressive that she scored all her points in round 1 just by pure plucking it out of thin air. So well done to her. I mean, I gotta give her some props on that. It's like a superpower. Because if you have not seen A Nightmare on Elm Street, everybody still at least knows that Freddy Krueger is known for having a glove with knives for fingers. Mm-hmm. So if I'm asking you how did he kill a character, it's not very likely that you'd pick hangs him with bed sheets.
Hang with the bed sheets. I had the exact same train of thought when I was watching it, and she was like, oh, I haven't seen it, and I mean, I almost turned the episode off after that admission, but I thought, no, I'll keep watching. But... yeah, then when she picked the right answer, like, because, I knew the answer straight away because I have seen that movie many times. And, when she picked it, I was just like, how the fuck did she guess that out of those 4 answers? Like, that was a really random guess. And, I don't know, do you think really she hasn't seen it, or is she just trying to look cool? She doesn't actually look cool, but anyway.
She is too sweet and lovely to have to pretend to have not seen it. If she ain't seen it, she ain't seen it. And so things like that. Because if you haven't seen it, the go-to response would be like slit his throat, cut him in half, things that associate with the knives, but you wouldn't think hangs him with bed sheets. So well done on that one. That was not easy. I don't know if it was a lucky guess or if she used the powers of deduction with the Rosemary's due date question. She got that one right. And
I know,
because you can use the power of deduction because she is giving birth to the son of the devil. So you can go, June is the 6th month of the year, 6, like there's going to be a 6 somewhere. So that would be my deduction, but I don't know why she picked it.
That's
Maybe she thought that.
Good point. Because, the funny thing is, like, Rosemary's Baby is one of my most favorite horror movies ever made. I freaking love that movie. It's one of those movies that has stood the test of time. Like, what it was from 1968, I think it was. I want to say, but
thought it was the 70s.
All these decades later, it is still perfection. And I've seen it so many times. But when that question came up, I was like, oh shit, I don't know the answer to this. And
really?
I ended up actually guessing the right answer. Like, I actually this time around, I actually made notes of which questions I got right and wrong and stuff, because you're always asking me that. You're always like, oh, how'd you go with this question? I'm like, yeah, nailed it. But no, this time I actually did make some notes. The only two I got wrong were the
1968
the and the Psycho question. I thought it was $10,000. Yeah, but
you would think so, because you'd be thinking 60s that, you know, small amount would have still been worth a lot more. But
well, it was actually the reason I picked $10,000 was there's an obscure cartoon on Adult Swim called Brack Presents the Brack Show starring Brack. Now, Brack is this weird alien character. It's hard to describe what he looks like and everything, but it's one of my most freaking favorite TV shows because of its randomness. It is the most random humor show I have ever seen in my life, and I love it. And there was an episode called Psych Oklahoma where they put on a musical which was a cross between Psycho and Oklahoma, and in it they keep talking about how the woman stole $10,000 money, which is what they keep calling it. It's always referred to as $10,000 money. And so when that question came up, I was thinking of the Brack Show, and I thought, oh, it's got to be 10,000 because they kept talking about $10,000 money, and so yeah, I went with that one. But yeah, Brack screwed me over.
Sure, we'll just keep blaming that. That's fine. You were right about Rosemary's Baby. It came out in 1968.
Cool.
I watched. Yeah. I actually watched it for the first time last year during my 31 days of Halloween marathon.
That's right. Yeah.
And I didn't like it.
All right. Well, anyway, thank you everybody for watching this podcast. I'm gonna go and do anything other than this podcast, and oh man, I own it on DVD and Blu-ray. Like,
of course you do. Of course you do.
I have a DVD copy, but it's got like a collector's booklet in it, like, which is really awesome. And so when I upgraded to Blu-ray, I was like, I don't really want to get rid of the DVD because it's got a cool thing in it. So yeah, I actually own copies on both formats. And I love that movie dearly because it's just, oh my god, the sense of paranoia, the claustrophobia.
I didn't get any of that.
That's because you're an idiot. And then the ending, the big reveal at the end, and like, okay, spoilers to anyone who hasn't seen the movie. Here it comes. This is your chance to turn off. Okay, this is going to go for about 10 seconds of spoilers. The end, like, where she accepts her fate and actually decides to be a mother to, the son of the devil, was just mind-blowing. Like, I love that ending so much. But anyway, that's fine. We can still be friends, I guess.
I don't think it's that mind-blowing. It's maternal instinct that you just love and accept your child naturally. It's a part of you. So I saw that and I'm like, well, duh. It wasn't that shocking.
I put a 10-second spoiler warning and you've just unraveled all that, like, in one sentence.
You're welcome.
Like, yeah. Well done. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
I had high expectations for that film when I went into it because I knew it's something so many people love and it's been praised for so long. So maybe that was my problem. I had high expectations and they just weren't met because when I watched it, I was just like, okay, and so I just walked away bored. I was very, very, very bored, and I have it right. I have it right here. I gave it a 0.5 out of 5.
Look, it is okay to be wrong. There is nothing that is totally acceptable, as long as you are aware and you're happy to admit that you're wrong. Then everyone can just move on. So, all right. So you've admitted you're wrong. So that's great. But yeah, no. Look, round one I thought was really good. Yeah. Once again, your questions were great, and it was a lot of fun despite all the technical problems.
Here's a funny little fact that nobody has pointed out, which I don't know if that just goes to show people don't actually really pay attention to the episodes, or nobody who used to watch them watches anymore. I don't know. Well, it could be either. But there are two questions that I asked that have been asked in the past, and not by me. Two questions, the Psycho question and the original title, the Babysitter Murders question. Both of those were asked by Anthony to me during his championship game. And the reason why, for starters, that I knew the answer to the Babysitter Murders is because I'd written that question myself and had it tucked away. So I'm like, I know the answer to this! And then he asked me the Psycho question too, and I'm like, I think we both got our questions from the same website. Because I'm interesting. But I, alas, could not remember which amount was the correct one for Psycho, so I ended up getting that one wrong. Actually, no, I think it was the money question, or was it... I don't remember now if he asked about money or if he asked about her name. I know he asked about her name, but maybe there was two Psycho questions. I don't know, but either way, definitely about the Babysitter Murders. And I was just like, that was the first one he asked, and I didn't even wait for him to give the answers. I just went, Halloween! And he's like, aren't I meant to give you the options? So I went, oh, whoops, right. Ask that again, and I'll just wait till you finish the question. So we
I love
did
how
that.
you start that little story off by saying, I don't know if, maybe it's a case of no one can remember the questions or whatever, and then you're, like, second-guessing yourself about the Psycho question. See, that's the thing, like, as enjoyable as your show is, like, yeah, by the next day, I can't remember what the questions are, but it's not just your show. It's like, if I watch The Chase on TV or something, like, half an hour
as
later,
opposed to being in it.
Questions are, because you're in the moment when you watch these things. You don't actually remember the questions. You just,
or
you
if
just
you're
enjoy
like
them while they're
you
happening.
and actually being on the show. So
yeah, I mean, heck, I don't even remember what the questions were with Bongo's episode, and
Quartermaster.
I don't know. Yeah. But then again, I don't really remember much of what I did this morning either. So yeah, maybe it's just a me thing.
Maybe it is. But so despite our initial hiccup where I lost my opening and I lost the first two questions, I was upset because I'm like, I wasn't expecting shit to hit the fan until round 2. And then we hit round 2, and the only issue was Anthony was having the same problem you were having when we were trying to do the last podcast. No sound was coming out of his headphones. He's like, I can't hear you. What is happening? And he...
Oh, wow.
and he, and I'm just like, well, at least it's not me. But I'm like, but of course it had to be something, didn't it? But that, I managed to, oddly enough, managed to record all of round 2 without a hiccup, which was weird. It was just everything else that sucked. But round 2 was LGBTQ plus movies, and
yes, there was the BLT questions.
This category does not come up much. It's only come up one other time, and having this category proved people don't know shit. And that's putting it nicely.
I was one of them. There was only one question that I actually got right. So I didn't have to make extensive notes on that one. And that was the Priscilla question being a bus. Like,
thank
that
fucking
one
Christ you at least
Every
got that
other question I got wrong. But that being said, there were a lot of movies in that round that I hadn't seen. So, that was my excuse. And that doesn't make me a homophobe, by the way, just so everybody knows. Like, there's a lot of movies I haven't seen. They just happen to be some of them. So
It is funny it's funny and it puts things in perspective. And I'm not saying this about Lucy or Stephanie in particular. I'm saying this in very general. That you see a lot of people who talk about wanting representation and all this stuff. But when push comes to shove, it's like, but what do you know about the films that do actually have representation? The answer apparently is nothing. Now, of course, there were a couple of things that I always try to write about movies, even if I don't know about them, because it has to be about everybody, not just me. I'd love it to just be about me, but it just can't be. But, so, most of the questions I know about because these are movies I grew up with. These are films that I have that, I mean, The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert is my number one favorite film of all time. I have seen that probably more times than I've taken breath. So, that is my life. That is my breath. But, and the fact that I'm just like, we're going through all these questions and nobody's getting anything. And the number one thing that I'm hearing is, I haven't seen it, I haven't seen it, I haven't seen it. I feel like the only times people do watch films that have the LGBTQ banner on it are usually a drama. Like, it seems like people kind of stay away from things that are more campy. And the thing is like, LGBTQ pretty much almost created the camp genre. Like, that is, like, their wheelhouse. And it's where they've always flourished and been able to be as crazy as they want and as fun and have so much representation. And, you know, anytime something was campy, even if we're talking about, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, you know, Freddy's Revenge, which is considered the gayest film in the franchise. They're and they're not wrong. Like, even, it's funny how many years later one of the actors came out as gay, and he's like, I didn't know at the time I was gay. And he says, and everybody was saying it was a really gay film. That wasn't our intention, he said, but when you look back on it, he's like, yeah, that is a really gay film.
So even Top Gun, like, if you watch Top Gun now, it's just like, holy shit, you got these oiled up, muscly dudes playing beach volleyball and, you know, just... and there's so many other things in that movie that are just so freaking gay. And, I don't know. Like, I don't know what they were trying to say with that film, but, there's a lot of films like that.
Yeah, I feel like certain people, especially straight people, are really getting more focused on these movies now, but still, it's mostly if it's attached to the drama genre, you know, so you've got Call Me By Your Name, Love, Simon, not really a drama film, but Love, Simon, was it Brooklyn? What was the movie with Cate Blanchett? Drama film. It's a period piece. She's a lesbian.
Yeah.
That wasn't Brooklyn, was it? That wasn't Brooklyn, was it? No, I don't think it was.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I haven't seen it. It's just simply because I don't really like drama films. But yeah, exactly. People seem to, or even like the Danish Girl, you know, talking about one of the first people to have transgender operation. And so you have these things, but then you've got films that going like to Hilary Swank's Boys Don't Cry from the 90s, which was, you know, it's based on a real person. That was a very powerful piece and is still considered by a lot of people one of the best films in her filmography. And because it is such a powerful piece. And I was so disappointed when Lucy's like, this is one of my favorite films. She's like, I don't know the name of the person it's based on. I'm like, that's just not okay. That's just not okay. But people need to, I don't get people being like, yeah, we need representation. Embrace the camp. You know what? RuPaul's Drag Race is now on season fucking 12. You know what that show is? Camp to the max. So it's been the rainbow safe place, and I've pretty much grown up watching these movies, and it's a shame because there are some really great ones that people are missing out on, like Flawless, for example. Philip Seymour Hoffman and Robert De Niro. You got two acting powerhouses in this interesting film that is about pretty much not so much overcoming prejudice. It's not overcoming prejudice, because Robert De Niro's character is so fucking prejudiced. I mean, the number of times he says the F word, and I'm not meaning fuck. These two just hate each other, and Philip Seymour Hoffman's character hates him because he hates gays, and Robert De Niro hates him because he's gay. And it just keeps going like that, but then he needs his help, and he kind of gets to know him, and in getting to know him, he learns more about gay people and drag and all that stuff, to the point where he kind of starts to lose his prejudice. And right. I think that's a far more powerful piece, because it's not about overcoming it, it's just learning to look at things a different way, actually opening your eyes and not being ignorant. And so that is such a good film. Like, bloody good. If nobody's seen Flawless, I hate you, we're not friends. But, so either way, I was... So either way, I was very disappointed. And I was a little miffed when Anthony said, these are some really hard questions. I said, actually, if I had people who are familiar with any LGBTQ films answering these questions, they'd be telling me that these were some easy-ass questions, because technically speaking, they were. Unfortunately, I just did not have the right audience for these questions, but I stand by my questions.
Well, the right contestants, you mean, because there was probably a lot of people in the audience who may have actually got them, but...
well, at this point, considering they didn't get any points, they may as well have been the audience. So...
But look, the one thing that I really loved about that round, something that actually kind of warmed my heart in a way, was the fact that Anthony was actually adhering to the 10-second time limit.
I knew you were going to say that.
Every time it got down, like, it was like, all right, your time's up, over to the next person. And I'm just like, dude, yes, that's how you do it. You don't, like, you know, your time's up and then you wait another 40 seconds or whatever, like, for them to answer it. So, yeah, I thought that was very commendable of him to be a little bit more of an enforcer as far as the time limit goes.
I mean, I don't usually have a time limit on the second person because it's a steal and it's not technically their question, so therefore there's more lenience, because it's like, it doesn't really matter. The person who was meant for got it wrong or just didn't know. And he was still enforcing it with them, because he did message me right before I invited him into the call, and he's like, and they only have 10 seconds, right? And I'm like, you've been on the show, you know the rules. And the fact that he was just going, your time is up, like, even every time Stephanie said, I don't know, I'm passing it on to Lucy, and he's still going, and your time is up. I'm like, she said pass. The clock has finished. What is wrong with you? I'm like, you're being too forceful with these ladies. I don't like it. This is not how I run my show. But leave it. I knew you'd love it, though.
Right, because, yeah, it's just one of those things. Look, it's not a big deal, of course, but it's just one of those things that just, it doesn't grind my gears. It just grinds the smaller little cogs in the background.
Just the cogs.
When the 10 seconds is up and it's still going for a while. It's just like, well, why do you have a timer then? I don't know. It's just me.
Bongo never paid attention to the timer.
Yeah.
Bongo, I'd be asking a brand new question, and he's still trying to answer the question past.
Yeah, because he was taking advantage of your generosity with your time.
Yeah,
that's why.
whatever, Trevor.
But yeah, look, overall, that second round, it was kind of a fizzer a little bit, which, it is a shame, but I mean, as we've discussed on previous podcasts, you can't make questions that are going to please everybody. I mean, I'm sure there were some people out there who probably got every single question right. But it just didn't happen to be these people, so what can you do, eh?
I think it's the first time in the history of my game show where no competitor got a single point in a round.
Oh, wow. Oh, I don't feel so bad about at least getting one then.
Then we moved on to round 3, the lightning round, where both competitors were given questions from the category of sci-fi. And this was once again when Fit hit the shan. And I pretty much was on the brink of tears several times.
Oh my god, watching that outtakes video that you released, and if anyone hasn't seen that, you've got to have a look at it. Like, yeah, it's like I commented on the thing. Like, you know, normally, like, gag reels are the first thing I go to in Blu-ray extras or whatever. Like, I loves me some gag reels. They're the funniest things on the planet. And when I saw you dropped an outtakes video, I was like, oh my god, I can't wait to watch that. Like, I didn't get to watch it straight away, but then eventually I did watch it, and I'm sitting here watching this thing, and I'm just like, this isn't funny. This is watching someone have a fucking emotional breakdown on camera, and like, I just felt bad. My heart was just breaking in two watching that thing, because just seeing the look on your face, like trying to smile through it, like trying to put on a brave face, but yeah, you could clearly see the anguish that was behind those eyes, and yeah, like, with all due respect, that was the least funny outtakes video I have ever seen, but only because my heart absolutely went out to you. But
thank you.
Yeah, so yeah, I saw what happened.
Yeah, but a lot happened. Yeah, I thought people were going to be laughing at my misery. Apparently not. Apparently people were pitying me. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, when it started, I was happy that I got all my round 2 footage, and I went, yay! And so we moved on to round 2. I did the intro for it. I started asking Lucy her questions. We got through all the questions. I got through all her questions. And then the laptop
round
died.
3, of course. You said round 2.
My apologies. We
That's
did
okay.
we did her
first for those people out there who are like, what?
Thank you. You're always there to correct people. It's just what you do. You even did it in your fucking live stream. You were such a prick.
I was one of those people for a moment there. I was like, hang on, round 2, what? Yeah.
But yeah, I asked Lucy all her questions in round 3, and then the laptop crashed. And so I lost all that footage. And I went, what? No, I was just about to ask Stephanie hers, and I went, yeah, like, if there was a sound effect to imitate the sound in my head, it would be the sound of glass shattering. That would be my internal. And then we opened again, and I told her, I'm sorry, I just lost all that. I'm gonna have to ask you these questions again. And she says, okay. She was such a good sport. She remembered what questions she answered correctly and what ones she didn't know the answer to. And despite the fact of me telling her whether she was right or wrong, she didn't even attempt to cheat. She repeated her answers exactly like she did last time, whether she said pass, or if there was one where she answered the Logan's Run question. She knew that she answered it and she got it wrong, so each time she just pulled a random number out of her head. Bless her.
Brilliant.
I asked her those questions at least 3 or 4 times.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. And so she did one hell of a performance in making it seem like she'd never heard them before.
Oh, I'll say.
Because I think the laptop kept dying, so I kept losing the footage, and then there was a moment where as soon as I turned the laptop back on and started the call, it died again. I'm like, I hadn't even started it yet. God damn. So obviously I was getting frustrated, and that was the moment when my phone dropped and shattered.
Oh, yeah. Far out. I mean, how the hell does that happen? Like, drop it. What did you say? It dropped onto a sock, was it?
Yeah.
My God, how? Oh man, you seriously had the like. There was something going on there, like some,
and it lasted for a
force,
week.
Some demonic energy or whatever that was just out to get you.
If I knew where to buy some sage, I'd be smudging the house. I kid you not, because that bad luck streak lasted a week. But I've shown my setup in my Patreon video of how I make my game show episodes, and it's like the using random furniture from around the house. I pull it into my room and I set things up like that because you just gotta make it work if you're poor. And so I use one of our stools from the kitchen bar or kitchen countertop, and I bring that in, and that's what I put my laptop on. And so it's one of those chairs where the legs come together and combine, so it's just one loop. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So my phone did technically land on a sock, because that's where I found it. But the screen obviously hit the bar of the loop, the leg thing, and that's where it shattered. And I've honestly watched that video multiple times, because you just can't fake it. That moment where you hear it drop and I don't even react because I'm that tired and upset, and I'm just like, I don't even want to get it. And I didn't. I'm like, fuck it, I'll leave it there, but I needed the timer. So I picked it up, and you're just waiting for that moment where I go, I'm like, I was just frozen. I'm like, I broke my phone. What? And for a second there I thought it wasn't going to turn on, but then it did turn on and I could use it. And I'd been using it for days until 2 days ago the screen officially went to hell and stopped working, and the phone is now officially kaput. And I went and had to get a brand new phone, so...
Yeah, so you're rocking an S20 now.
I am, and it's pretty good. I like it, except I don't like that I don't have a normal jack like my last phone where I can put in a regular pair of headphones. You can only use the headphones that come with the phone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's weird, and I don't like that.
Because my phone, I plug like a normal 3.5mm headphone jack in to play music in my car. So
yeah, that
probably wouldn't really help me. So that's good to know.
Yeah, I do that. It uses the same charging port. Is also the same port where you plug the headphones in.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, now I can't use my regular headphones, and the thing is, that means I can never use headphones on this thing because I don't use earbuds, because earbuds never stay in my ears.
I have the same problem.
And that's why I just got these brand new ones, which is going to lead me into another faux pas that people don't know happened on in the behind the scenes, but it's just another fact of that it was a shit day and technology has not been my friend. But obviously I broke my phone, and so we started again, and then I discovered I had fiberglass in my finger, so yay, because why the fuck not? And I decided, I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this in reverse. I said, Stephanie, I'll do your questions, and then Lucy will redo yours. And I decided that I wasn't going to run both programs on my computer. I usually have my editing software and I record the screen that way, but my computer just was not handling it. So I decided that I would record the call through Skype. And then it wasn't until editing when I realized, oh no, I'm in this call, which means it has my camera's mic.
Right.
And I went, no. Even though I got the footage, it's shit audio. And so then I had to try to sync my video footage from my camera with the audio from the Skype call. And I'm like, I give up. I fucking give up. But I was really disappointed that the audio quality for me was not good because I had to resort to using the Skype call, but it was the only way I could get the footage without my laptop dying.
Right.
And so then once again, I think it was the third or fourth time, I asked Lucy her questions, and it's why we didn't have the intro for round 3, because I lost that footage as well. But another technical hiccup, some people may notice that sometimes I'm doing a podcast or something, I may have my big headphones on. And if I'm doing a game show episode, it doesn't look like I'm wearing headphones because I used to have little hook ones that went around my ear, so they were always hidden by my hair. I like that because then it just didn't look like I'm wearing headphones, and I thought that it was a cleaner look for me being in my little oracle circle. Well, some weeks ago, I was dancing around to music in my room, and my headphone cord got wrapped around my knee, yanked, and the ear bit came out. I managed to clip it back into its little holster thing, but ever since then, if I didn't have the cord or even the jack in the right position, I'd lose sound in the left earphone part. And then it got to a point where if I didn't have the jack in the right spot when listening to music, I'd lose sound in both sides. So I was constantly, if I was recording, like when I recorded the last podcast with you, or I recorded the last podcast with Ben, I had to strategically place the cord in a certain spot and try not to move. Otherwise, sound was going to drop out and I was going to lose everything. So when I was listening to music, I decided to switch to my headphones that I use for game shows. I don't like using them for music anymore because sound isn't great through one of the ears, but that may just be because it's full of wax. I don't know. I try to clean it, but whatever. And it wasn't great because I liked the music blaring, and the music just does not blare with those little things. And so I'm just having one of those nights, and this was right before, a couple days before I was meant to record with the girls. And I dropped my iPod on the ground, which has happened so many times. And then I noticed the jack was no longer attached to my iPod. And I picked it up and discovered the jack had snapped off inside my iPod.
How did you get that out?
I had to use my teeth.
Oh, so there was still a little bit exposed at the
Just a little bit. And so I'm like,
okay.
I hope this doesn't electrocute me. So I'm going,
It won't electrocute.
With my luck, it could have happened.
Well,
But
actually, that's true. That's true.
But
It's a
the thing
miracle
is,
you're
it
still
was
here.
coming out in pieces. Like, because if anybody actually looks at their headphone jacks, you can see there's like lines and layers.
Yeah.
So it was each layer was coming out at a time. And I'm like,
Oh, God.
okay, good news, I got it out. Bad news, I broke the headphones I used for recording all my game show episodes. I'm like, now I have to go and use my shitty big headphones that I don't like using, so I did.
Right.
And the problem was that there was at least one point while I was doing the intro where I accidentally moved the wrong way and I couldn't hear anything they were saying.
Oh, fuck. You know they do have wireless headphones, right? Like, that have no cables at all.
Yeah, those are out of my budget. I can't afford that shit.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Fair enough.
poor. I am poor. And immediately when I broke my other headphones, I'm like, I need headphones and I need stuff that I can use when I'm traveling and for the game show. So I went onto eBay and I got these little doodads here, which are much more to my liking. But yeah, they only arrived a few days ago, so I didn't have them for recording. And
Right.
it was just a fucking nightmare. I was so disappointed. And it is why, later that day, after I took a brief nap, I woke up and recorded the last podcast with Dan, and Dan was having headphone issues, and he was having connection issues. And he's just going, it's fine, it's not a big deal. And I'm going, if you knew the hell I just went through, you'd realize this is a big deal to me. Now he
But you know, the
understands.
best part about those headphones there is that if you filmed yourself against a blue screen, it's gonna look like you've got no ears because they're just gonna be completely keyed out.
I'm okay with that, but I don't use a blue screen, so I don't have that problem.
I know. I was saying hypothetically. God, jeez, it was funny. Shut up.
It wasn't that funny. But nevertheless, talking about mishaps aside, and the fact that I'd broken 2 sets of headphones and it just wasn't. I broke 2 sets of headphones. I broke a phone. My laptop died. I injured myself.
Fiberglass in the finger. Yeah.
It was such a great 6 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. period that I just can't wait to do it again. But talking about the actual sci-fi questions, which we haven't done yet, we really should. I know. I've seen Stephanie's channel. I'm subscribed to it, so obviously I watch her stuff, and she's a Star Wars fan. She loves Star Wars. So
Are you sure?
So the fact that she had blanked on who plays Obi-Wan Kenobi in The Phantom Menace, and I was just like, I know why she wasn't saying pass. It was because she knew the answer and she just couldn't, the name was not coming to her. So she was kept waiting for that name to happen, and in doing so she was killing her time. And so she wasn't able to answer all of her questions, which was disappointing. But I'm just like, I know you know this. I know you know this. So eventually, by the time, I said it was Ewan McGregor, she's like, of course it was Ewan McGregor. But there's nothing worse than knowing it's
she's not a Star Wars fan. I don't care how much she says she is. She's not.
Don't be rude. Don't be mean. Don't
I mean,
do that.
he was Obi-Wan in 3 films. 3.
I'm surprised you said 3. Most people try to pretend like Attack of the Clones didn't happen.
Well, it did happen, whether we like it or not. It is there.
I liked
the same as cancer and nuclear war, other things. Like
I liked Attack of the Clones. I hated Rosemary. I liked Attack of the Clones.
Fuck.
The more you know. So
why am I here again?
I don't fucking know.
So many things I could be doing right now.
Like
anything.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Anyway.
I think for the most part, Lucy's questions were fairly easy. I was surprised she didn't get my Matrix question. Like, I thought that one was easy. Maybe it wasn't.
What was the question again?
What was the name of Morpheus's ship in the Matrix?
Oh, yes, Nebuchadnezzar. I did get that one. Because I don't know which questions they were, but I wrote it down. I got 4. I got 4 right in the first one and 6 right in the second one. So yeah, I only got 4 in the first one though.
Really?
I can't remember which ones they were, but yeah.
Okay, so did you get the name of the nation in the Hunger Games?
No, because I've only ever seen the first Hunger Games and I didn't really like it. So
fair enough. The 10 Cloverfield Lane question? That's easy.
What was the question? Because I think I got it.
10 Cloverfield Lane was the sequel to which movie?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. What is the profession of Jodie Foster's character in Contact?
No, I didn't get that one.
Okay. Steve McQueen made his screen debut in which 1958 movie?
Hang on, sorry, the sound came out a bit bad then. What was the actress
Steve McQueen made his screen debut in which 1958 movie?
Yeah, no, I didn't get that one. I was trying to think of all those films that came out around then, and I just couldn't narrow it down, so no, I did not get that one.
I watched The Blob 2, and Blob remake all last October, and I gotta say, the Blob theme song became one of my favorite theme songs for like 2 months. Walking around the house, and I'm just like, beware of the blob, it creeps and leaves, and my mom's going, what are you doing? And I'm like, this song is awesome. Doesn't it make you think of Hawaii 5-0? Like, no, it wasn't Hawaii 5-0, it was Hawaiian Eye, black and white thing from back in the day. And she's like, oh yeah, I can see how you think that. And she's like, you're liking this? I'm like, isn't it so 50s? And she's like, yeah, and I was born in the 40s and I'm not liking this. I'm like, well, whatever. So that was my jam for at least 2 months.
That's why the music god smited you and broke your headphones.
I was listening on my laptop and my phone, not through my headphones. Don't be rude. Who directed Time Bandits and 12 Monkeys?
Say again?
Who directed Time Bandits and 12 Monkeys?
Oh, Terry Gilliam. Yes, I got that one.
1976's Logan's Run. People are only allowed to live to what age?
Yeah. I think I get it was it 30?
It was 30.
Yeah. No, I did get that one.
Yay! You got the Matrix one. Who voices Samantha in 2013's Her? What planet is Prot from in 2001's K-Pax?
Yeah, I never saw that.
I thought that was funny because the answer is K-Pax.
Well,
the name of the movie is the name
Trick
of the
question.
planet. What is the name of the figure in the monstrous rabbit costume in Donnie Darko?
Oh god, that was one of those ones that like it was on the tip of my tongue. I knew it, but I didn't know it, so no, I had to pass that one. And then when the answer came up as Frank, I was like, that's right.
The first time I asked Lucy that question, her response was, he had a name?
Right.
And I said yes.
Yeah, so no, I couldn't
did.
take credit for that one.
And then we would have moved on to Stephanie's question. So we know about Obi-Wan. That was an unfortunate. She got, of course, Elliot's sister in E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
Yeah. She got the Solo question. That was super easy.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of poetry is annoying in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? That was hard. I admit that one.
Yeah, that one I didn't get.
Yeah. In which movie would you encounter the character Deckard?
That was easy.
Okay. What was the name of the virtual reality world in 2018's Ready Player One?
That was super easy because I was so fucking obsessed with that movie and book and everything to do with it, so yeah. I can't actually tell you what Oasis stands for because there's a lot of big words in it, but I do have a t-shirt with it on it, but that probably doesn't surprise you. Anyway, yeah, easy question for me.
Who plays the main male role in Cloud Atlas?
Yeah, that one I didn't get because I have not seen that film.
That was Tom Hanks.
Right.
And the last question, which she was running out of time on, was who plays Scotty in the revamped Star Trek movies?
Simon Pegg, super easy. So, yeah, that round had, well, for me anyway, that round had a lot of much easier questions.
It's a shame I don't know how, I don't think she would have gotten the last two questions even if I had asked. Actually, no. I told her, which I always tell the people what questions they miss, and I did tell her, and it just so happened she would have gotten the next one. So she would have at least gained an extra point, which was in the movie John Carter, what planet does Carter travel to? She said she actually knew the answer to that one. I'm like, well, Mars, damn. Right? I'm like, yes, it is. I said, oh, really? And she said, Mars. And I said, too bad I can't give you the point for that one, so whatever.
And then it would too slow on Ewan McGregor.
And then it would have been who directed 2012's Prometheus?
Was it... see, I want to say Ridley... Was it Ridley Scott?
It was Ridley.
Yeah. So, cool.
And so, yeah, we finished that game with so many problems. And no beaten scores. I really thought that they would. I mean, considering I I have it written down somewhere. I don't know where that pad has gone. But they had relatively low scores in their last games. And so I'm like, oh, these are low. No offense. But they were low. So I thought, these should be easy to beat. Apparently not. But, you know, Stephanie redeemed just for being a bloody good sport. And Lucy redeemed by winning. So. There was something at least, so.
Well, this is the life you have, made for yourself, so yes. You got to do these things.
Is it too late to quit?
You got to be professional. Yeah, because, God, you're getting paid so much to do it, right?
Well, not enough to retire, that's for sure. It would just be flat out quitting. Retiring is when you can, leave with a nice little bundle of cash to keep you warm at night.
Yeah.
I don't have that. I just have a horror blanket. That's it. That's all I have.
But look, like I said, with all the technical mishaps and everything that you had, I think, overall you did a really good job with that episode. And, I just hope I hope, all your bad mojo was used up on that, and from now on, things go a lot better for you.
Maybe. We'll see. Probably not. I've often lived my life, and it's not a joke. They always say bad things come in threes. That pretty much always applies to me. It always comes in threes. Whereas this time, that rule did not apply. It was just a week solid of shit happening. It's like...
This time it came in 300s.
It's just like starting a new round of workout. I busted my rotator cuff. I had just the other day, the night that I broke my phone, and I'm like, oh no. Okay. My mum got mad at me the next day. She's like, you didn't get up to do my hair. And I'm like, I don't have an alarm. Phone equal dead. I don't know when to wake up. If you want me to wake up, you're gonna have to do it yourself. And then she's mad at me that I didn't wake up. I'm like, not my fault. I don't have a brain that says, internal alarm, time to wake up. No, I just wake up when it's time to wake up. Yeah. And then I realized that I got my movie ticket to see Sonic, and I was like, oh, I'm seeing Sonic tomorrow. I'm like, oh wait, it's an online ticket that I show them with my phone that I now can't do. Oh shit. So I went to print out the ticket, and then the printer wouldn't work. And then when it would work, it printed out my ticket, but the one thing on the ticket it wouldn't print was the barcode, which is exactly what I need for scanning. And so that's just pretty much how the day kept going. And then I had to get home, and I'm like, I need to beat my mom home so that I can go and check my emails, because I can't check my phone because I don't got one. And I'm like, okay, this bus is taking too long. I'll get on the other bus, and then I'll walk the extra block. And I did, and as soon as I was like a few houses away from my house, I saw my mom backing out of the driveway. I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. And so she's driving down the road, and I'm trying to flag her down, and she's not seeing me. And so I'm trying to run after her car like a mad woman. But luckily, traffic was so bad that day that I actually caught up to her. And I'm walking backwards, still trying to be like, can you see me? And then eventually she sees me, and she goes, oh, look, it's you. And I'm like, fuck, finally, she sees me. So I had to walk back to where I came from. Well, run, actually. And in doing so, I sprained my foot. So it hasn't been a great week, at all.
No, but look, you've hit rock bottom. You can only go up from here, right?
That's what we all say, but turns out there is a layer under rock bottom, and you can hit it. So who knows? Well, I'm about to go and try and be social for the first time since 2018, and that was only once. Prior to that, I hadn't done it since 2014. So I don't know. It's like the bus could be late, the bus might not show up, my Mikey ticket might not work. There could be a car accident. I could show up and he's not there. He might have died. I mean,
An asteroid might come down from the heavens and destroy your entire city.
Southland might have been shut down due to coronavirus. I mean...
Well, yeah, that's more relevant.
Which, speaking of coronavirus, I have a very important question for you. Do you have access to toilet paper?
Yeah, funny story. A few days ago, a friend of mine over in the UK sent me a picture of an empty supermarket aisle and said, "Oh, you guys having this problem over there?" And at first, this is only when it was just kind of starting, like the whole toilet paper thing. And I said to him, "Oh, no, we're fine over here. We're a lot more laid back over here. No one cares." And that afternoon, I visited my supermarket that I go to, and tons of toilet paper everywhere. I was like, "Yeah, we're fine." Then all of a sudden, this fucking ridiculous, stupid, fucking thing started happening, which I've actually, put a lot of thought into it because I couldn't figure it out. I honestly could not understand what was going on, but now I kind of get that people are stocking up on toilet paper, not because of the virus, but because people are buying toilet paper. It's this chain reaction, and so I kind of get it in a way now. People are actually bulk buying toilet paper because everyone else is doing that, and there's none left. And just yesterday I went up to that same supermarket, and the whole aisle is fucking devoid of anything, and there's a little Asian supermarket near there that was selling packs of 20 for $12 or something, which I can't even remember if that's a reasonable price or not. I'm imagining it's not, but it's fucking stupid. And if anybody is watching this, if you are one of those people that has gone out and stockpiled a fucking lifetime supply of toilet paper, you fucking suck. I don't care. Honestly, you're an idiot, and I hate you, because last night, my buddy Justin, who from Twitter, it's his birthday tomorrow. We went out for his birthday last night.
Happy birthday, Justin!
I got him a present, but I had this idea in mind that was going to be the funniest joke. I was going to get a small thing of toilet paper, wrap that up. I was going to give him his main present. And say, "Oh, here's a little something, but here's the proper present. Now this is something really valuable, something that I had to seek out, in so many places and stuff. So I hope you appreciate it." And of course, what I didn't realize, it's not a fucking joke. It is actually something really valuable and hard to find. So yeah,
fucking
one
gold.
of those jokes that I couldn't do because of all those fucking sausage heads that went out and bought all the toilet paper. And secondly, it wasn't actually a joke. It really is something that is actually a valuable commodity, and I just don't understand the world we're living in. And rant over.
It's insane, because I was hearing about it, and I'm just like, why is toilet paper trending on Twitter? What the hell is going on? And then when I went shopping with my mum, we were both doing our grocery shopping together, and it was scary because going down each aisle, you could see everybody's thought process based on what was missing. You can see that people were stockpiling things that are going to have long life because they're all locking themselves away, putting themselves into quarantine, so they're buying things that are going to last long and that they can turn into lots of different things. So first we go to get long life milk, because that's what we get. All the long life milk was gone, except for soy milk and almond milk. I'm like, bitches took my milk. What? God damn it. So we actually had to go and get milk from the fridge, and we don't really go through milk that fast, which is why we get long life. We don't get it fresh. And now we had to. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. There was nothing. You go down the next aisle, no flour anywhere. I've never seen a shelf without flour on it. I'm like, okay, I get it. You can make pasta, you can make bread, you can make lots of things with flour that's gonna last a long time. I get that. And then you go, and the pasta's all gone, and the cans of tomato sauce are gone. And I'm like, so you're going to be eating pasta? I'm like, just so I hope you know, you're not going to actually need toilet paper, because with all those cars, you're probably going to be constipated for weeks. So you don't need all that toilet paper. And then we get to the toilet paper aisle. No toilet paper to be seen. No paper towels to be seen. No tissues to be seen. And we're like, oh, my mom's just looking at me. She's like, how many toilet rolls do we have at home? And I said, in the bathroom or in the closet? And she says, in the closet. And I'm like, 3. She went, oh, shit. And I said, well, unlike you, I can hold on. So it's okay. She's like, I can't. I'm 70. So... and the fact that there are people who can't get toilet paper, so they're getting paper towels, which is, oh, that's like sandpaper, that ain't pretty. And then they're getting tissues, which is so bad because tissues don't flush, they float. You're gonna clog your toilet, so y'all are idiots.
Yeah.
If you did buy tissues to substitute toilet paper, karma is really gonna get your plumbing, and you deserve it. So there's that. But it was crazy seeing all this.
I mean, the thing is that it's going to be restocked soon. Like, I don't doubt that whatsoever. There is no fucking way they're going to, leave society without, such an essential thing. So
hang on, I have to share this with you because it's a podcast and we talk about random things here. So I have a Woolworths card, so therefore I have Woolworths rewards. So therefore I get my emails and stuff. And the CEO of Woolworths sent all Woolworths people an email about the toilet paper shortage. And the funny thing is that the owner of Coles also did the same thing for like people who have Flybys, so they're signed up with Coles as well. So the Coles company sent a similar email out to Coles shoppers. But I have Flybys, but my family uses it, not me, and I only got it because I used to work for Coles. So the email reads as such. Dear Ashley, that's nice that they make it personal. I'd like to update you on the shortages we're seeing in toilet paper and other essential items. This is going great. As you may have read or seen for yourself, these are unusual and challenging times. We know it can be frustrating when we don't have the products you need or when delivery or pickup windows are filled more than usual. We're working very closely with our suppliers to get products onto shelves as quickly as we can. The makers of Kleenex, Sorbent, Quilton, and Woolworth's own range of toilet paper have all increased their production to meet this very unusual demand. For example,
of course they have.
The makers of Kleenex are now manufacturing 24 hours, 7 days a week at their Millicent, South Australia factory, as are Sorbent in their New South Wales and Victorian facilities. And the makers of Quilton have tripled their normal production across their factories in Queensland, New South Wales, and Western Australia. It's worth noting that the vast majority of products aren't affected and most stores aren't seeing significant shortages. But to make sure everyone has access to essential items, we've introduced some common sense limits to a few products. We've limited toilet paper to 4 packs per transaction and large packs of rice, apparently people buying the rice too, 2 kilograms and over to 1 per transaction. Where available, hand sanitizer is now at the customer service desk and limited to 2 per transaction. We did notice there was a lot of hand sanitizer missing in the little beauty aisle.
Yeah.
We're constantly monitoring the situation and we'll do our best to keep all products freely available to everyone. However, if we see new shortages, we may introduce other limits. We'll only do this if we think it's absolutely necessary and to help make sure all customers can access the products they need. We'll keep you updated in our stores and on our website as things change. Our team members are doing the very best they can, so please support them and each other. Thank you for your patience and understanding as we work through this together. Brad Banducci, CEO of the Woolworths Group. The fact that needed to get sent is insane.
I just never imagined that, if there was ever a zombie apocalypse or a virus outbreak or, any of those things like movie-like apocalyptic scenarios, you would think that things like, tinned food and medical supplies and, hygiene products or whatever, those would be the things. But I never in a million years would have imagined that fucking toilet paper would become the most important thing that everybody thinks about. And yeah, I mean, I guess it doesn't really surprise me because I think like all those people who bought a lifetime supply are absolutely full of shit. So I guess it's appropriate in a way.
There was a woman, I don't know if it was it on the news, on the radio, or was my mum's friend telling her about this? I can't remember which one. I get told a lot of stories. But this woman, this grandmother, was traveling from Rosebud, which I assume you don't know where Rosebud is. So I'll say we're talking 3 hours drive from where I live. So she's driven all this way to babysit her grandkids who live in Sandringham, which is like a 5-10 minute drive from where I live because it's just like a neighboring suburb. Mm-hmm. And she said she came to, I think she was at Coles. I think maybe my mum bumped into her. Like I said, I don't remember this part of the detail. It was the other part of the story I was paying attention to. She said that she has been to every Coles along the way from fucking Rosebud, and every store she stopped into, no toilet paper. Every single Coles in a 2 to 3 hour drive, no toilet paper. And she's like, I have to babysit like I think it was like 3 or 4 children, and she's like, there's gonna be 5 of us or something. There's like we're gonna need toilet paper. And she's going and she's looking for it, and there's nothing. And she says that she was really embarrassed about going and buying toilet paper because she thinks the staff are going to think she's a crazy person after toilet paper. And the fact is, my mom did the same thing. She even said it to someone. She's like, there's no milk. And there's a guy stocking shelves, not with milk because they were out of it. And he's like, were you after something? She says, we were after milk, but only because we want milk and not because we're stockpiling it. And he says, it's crazy. But the fact that now there are people going into the stores who have to actually announce, I'm not one of the crazy people, I'm just here to do my grocery shopping.
I know. I'm actually like that. I was sort of thinking to myself, like, when the time comes that I actually do need to buy toilet paper, which I'll only buy 1 packet of the damn stuff, because, fuck, I don't need a whole lifetime supply. But I'm going to feel embarrassed now. I'm actually going to, like, get my toilet paper and walk out with my head down, like, maybe I'll wear a surgical mask or something so people don't know it's me. But, yeah. But no, I was just imagining in my head, like, some short film scenario or whatever of, like, this rich family or whatever, and they wake up one morning and they come downstairs and they find their house has been broken into, and they're like, oh my god, well, what's been stolen? They're like, TV, hi-fi equipment's all there, like, the wife goes and checks, like, the jewelry's all there, and they're like, oh, thank god. And they're like, oh my god, no. They go down into their bathroom and, like, there's just, like, ripped up, like, plastic wrapping from their toilet rolls or whatever, and they're like absolutely freaking out because their toilet paper supply has been stolen. And to them it's just, like, even worse than, if the kids had been kidnapped or whatever. Like, yeah, but
please make that short film.
Films, though, that, yeah, it's only relevant for now, though. Like,
I don't care, but people can. It's scary now, but at least when it's all said and done, people can look back at that and go, now that was funny. So, yes, please make it. That needs to get made. It's a short film. Go and make it.
No, because actually that same friend who lives in the UK before, I actually was almost going to make a short film, was it last year, the year before? When the whole plastic bag thing happened, like when those grey supermarket bags were no longer, and you had to start paying for plastic bags.
Yeah.
I actually, this friend of mine, he actually wrote this script based on a story that I pitched to him of, because at the time it was a really big thing. Like, everyone was panicking that plastic bags were going to go and all this sort of shit. And he wrote this script where, it's this sort of nighttime meeting in a car park, like this. Car drives up and there's all these people in suits and stuff, and guy comes out and the other guy's like, have you got the money? Yeah, here you go. Have you got my stuff? And he hands him a briefcase and he opens it up, and of course it's just plastic bags. Which at the time it would have been really funny, and, like, it was just one of those things that because my life is the way it is. I never got around to making it, unfortunately. But at the same time, it wouldn't be as relevant now. Like, because people have already forgotten what it was like, you know, when the great plastic bag thing happened. And I think it's going to be the same with the toilet paper thing. I think, like, in about 2 years' time, we're going to remember it, but it's not going to be that important anymore, so...
But I think you should at least make it just as something little for your YouTube channel. I mean, if you were able to go and make a little short film about the fucking Banana Splits movie and how much you hated it, which, let's face it, is also not something that's relevant down the track, but at the time was super funny, it's the same thing. So you may as well make another little short about toilet paper, because I honestly really want to see it now. Like, if you don't, I'll find a way to do it myself.
Maybe I will. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
If you don't, I will.
Yeah, sure you will. You're going to break everything in the process.
Everything but the toilet paper.
Yeah, which we don't have any, so it doesn't matter.
Well, I think it is safe to say that we have stayed true to how things operate on this podcast, where there was a little bit of talk about the game show and then a bunch of other random shit like coronavirus and toilet paper. So not much has changed, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with this. I don't actually know why I brought up toilet paper and coronavirus. I do know how I segued into that.
Oh, because we were talking about if an asteroid hit the city, or
it wasn't an intentional segue.
It socializing, so yeah.
It wasn't an intentional segue. It just, it just perfectly worked out that way.
yeah, exactly.
So
anyway, but
I think we're done. We did actually talk about the game show. I did talk about the many blunders, technical mishaps, and the moment where I lost the will to live. And so I think and then we threw in some coronavirus because it's a hot topic right now. And so I think we've covered just about everything. We didn't take a moment to talk about Dan's fabulous new banner, of which he is so proud of. No more blue or green screen for him. It's the real deal.
I know. It's gonna save me the roughly 30 seconds or whatever to key myself out and put that image in the background. But I don't know. It just looks better. I'm just one of these people that I like practical effects over CG and stuff. And that's as practical as it gets. I can touch it. Boop, boop, boop.
I can see in the background that I believe that looks like a cat's little play podium, and so I would just love to see the cat jump up on there and then jump onto the banner and claw its way down. Oh, is it wonderful?
She's at an age now where jumping up things that high are just no longer an option for her, so... which she just instead walks around and tells me about it. So, yeah.
It's disappointing. I am disappointed. But nevertheless, I think we have had another good episode. Plenty of things talked about. So the only thing left to say is that I think you should go and subscribe to Dan's YouTube channel, which is Movie Talk with Dan Jensen. In case you couldn't tell from the banner, because his footage always looks better than mine. But
I also have no money left to buy toilet paper, so yeah, there's that. I can always wipe my ass on my banner, but anyway, please keep talking, please.
Just do what your cat does. Just go in the litter box. That's fine.
Actually, I could just use the cat as toilet paper. No, okay, you really need to keep talking, please.
As always, links if you are watching via SoundCloud or YouTube. I don't know if these description part. I think the description part sometimes ends up on iTunes. I don't know. But either way, you find links to all of Dan's stuff. His YouTube, his Twitter, his Instagram that he doesn't really use too much, his Facebook, all that stuff. His links to all that stuff are down there. My links to all my stuff are down there. Dan has a Patreon. I don't know. He doesn't promote this, but he actually has a
No,
Patreon account. So you could go and give him money, or you could go to his merch site and you could buy a bunch of merchandise. He has a shit ton of it. He has, hang on, I got it right here. He has a calendar. We're currently in March.
I do.
So this is March. This was a lovely birthday present from the one and only Dan Jensen, and I do enjoy my birthday present. It is allowing me to keep track of my weight. So, so there you go.
I actually just started using my I had a couple left over, and I was like, well, I don't know what's going to happen with these, but then I don't know why it suddenly occurred to me, like, actually I could use a calendar because I've constantly got things coming up and I can never keep track of dates and stuff, and so I only just started using one, which is kind of a logical thing to do, but
it is.
Sometimes my brain doesn't think of logic, which is why it takes me
Apparently
45
not.
minutes to start up a fucking YouTube live stream, but anyway.
So there are your options. I have Patreon merch and a bunch of other crap. You can check that out, or you can just go and support or give money to Dan. Again, it's an option. Like I said, Bungo with the Movies 2020 calendar. It's right here. It's a thing. It's actually a pretty swell calendar. Even my mum got a chuckle out of it. She actually picked up on some of the references. So,
wow.
That's, I've just adjusted my camera because the damn cord moved. But that is it for today. Support Dan. Support me if you want to. This kind of thing was my creation, so a little bit of support from me wouldn't be too bad. It wouldn't kill ya. But that's it. And we will see you in the next one, where hopefully we don't have as many technical difficulties to talk about. I'm hoping. But
Yes.
But until then, bye guys!
Arrivederci!